We praise Yah, we praise Yah. Yah, He is and always will be our King, and we will praise Him, and we will serve Him. You know we need Him, and yes, we love Him. Yah, He's alive, forever lives, watching you and me. Yes, He is. Yah, He's alive, forever lives, watching you and me. Yes, He is. Oh, yes, He reigns. You know He does. Shout aloud, tell the world you know Yehovah. Yes, He reigns. Oh, yes, He reigns. You know He does. Shout aloud, tell the world you know Yehovah. Yes, He reigns. We praise Yah, we praise Yah. Yah, He is and always will be our King, and we will praise Him, and we will serve Him. You know we need Him, and yes, we love Him. Yah, He's alive, forever lives, watching you and me. Yes, He is. Yah, He's alive, forever lives, watching you and me. Yes, He is. Oh, yes, He reigns. You know He does. Shout aloud, tell the world you know Yehovah. Yes, He reigns. Oh, yes, He reigns. You know He does. Shout aloud, tell the world you know Yehovah. Yes, He reigns. We praise Yah, we praise Yah. Yah, He is and always will be our King, and we will praise Him, and we will serve Him. You know we need Him, and yes, we love Him. Yah, He's alive, forever lives, watching you and me. Yes, He is. Yah, He's alive, forever lives, watching you and me. Yes, He is. Oh, yes, He reigns. Yes, He reigns. You know He does. Shout aloud, tell the world you know Yahweh. Yes, He reigns. Oh, yes, He reigns. You know He does. Shout aloud, tell the world you know Yahweh. Yes, He reigns.
My name is Cohen Michael Ben Levi of the Hebrew family of Guyana. The aim of these dissertations is to cause the true house of Israel, who have been without knowledge of themselves for countless generations, and who are now being awakened by the God of the universe, to better serve our Creator. It is our hope that by reacquainting this awakening black nation with their laws and former history, it will hasten our return to our true identity, thereby acknowledging our ancient ancestors. This in turn will allow us to know our Father's God and prepare us to stand together to meet the terrible day of the Creator that He is now readying for all mankind. May He cause all your minds and hearts. Everybody quiet, please. Shabbat Shalom Lakem, praying that the Holy One of Israel has blessed each and every one of you, that He will even comfort all of those who are mourning the loss of a loved one, and strengthen all of those in mind and spirit that are having health challenges. And today we know there are many across the planet It is my prayer that this teaching series on the patience of Job and the study of the book of Job will give listeners a Hebrew understanding of these scriptures. But we pray that it will also strengthen the hearts and the minds of those individuals whose hearts are heavy at this time. Many people across the planet are suffering pain and sorrow due to trauma caused by disasters, horrific events, and many people worldwide are grieving like Job because of great calamity in their lives. Death of loved ones, mothers, fathers, husbands, wives, children, grandparents, extended family and friends have left many on the planet sad today. We hope and pray that we'll understand some of the things that we learned from this wonderful story written by Moshe or Moses. One of the things that we can all agree upon is that chance happeneth to us all. There is no gender discrimination when it comes to trouble. It finds male and female. Trouble finds us all, and death visits every family. All human beings can agree that we all know suffering. Every family has experienced death in their households or among their relatives at one time or another. And we all know the heartache that it brings. It is this knowledge and experience of our own sorrow and suffering and our own heartache. It is where we must be driven and must draw compassion for others. We know our own sorrow, so when we have friends and loved ones that are suffering or sad and in pain, we have a duty to be there to try to supply that comfort that they need. We see that in the story that we are reading today about this man Job. We all know that his life started out with 7,000 sheep, 7 daughters, 7 sons, that is, and 3 daughters, 10 children in all. He was abundantly blessed. He was a good man, we all know. Jehovah even said that he feared him, that he shunned evil, that he had a good heart. And he boasted about Job's righteousness. And we all know that on that day upon Satan and the sons of Yah, his angels, meeting, and we all know by that, tells us that the story is somewhat an imagination, a novel perhaps. It's not really a true story. If you really understand the story and you look deeper into it, you see that the time and place, for instance, Job does offerings, and you know that it could not have been during the time of the priesthood for Job, so it had to take place even in the mind of the writer before Moses. Job even lived to be 200 years old. If you really read the whole story in the 42nd chapter, we haven't gotten there, but it'll tell you that. So again, you know, inference tells you certain things about when it could have been and perhaps what Moses or the writer is suggesting in terms of a time frame. So Job is tested because Satan says, oh, Job has everything. You've blessed him, you've given him sons and daughters, you've given him flocks and herds. He wants nothing, but put your hand on him, touch him. I bet you he'll curse you to your face. So that's the plot that has been set for us. Job, through 1 through 7, we know we get the background in 1 and 2 of what happened. And then, of course, we realize that in chapter 3, Job begins to speak. And it started, we all remember, we've read it and listened many times. Many of us have read this story. And we know that Job sits down for 7 days. You know, when you sit on the ground for 7 days and 7 nights because of sorrow, you're pretty sad. And so Job's friends joins him and they sit with him on the ground because they can see his grief, his sadness, his sorrow is deep. And so this is the setting where Job now, after having all this happen to him, he begins his complaint. Because in chapter 7, he complains and his friends are listening around to him, speaking about his righteousness. He even gets to the point where he curses the day he was born. Now, you know he's really angry. He argues that human beings, male and females, are born to trouble. And I think we all can learn that and say, that's true. Once you're a human being, sooner or later, young or old, rich or poor, trouble will find you. Because of how Job feels about his troubles, which are unfair in his eyes, he feels God is not just. Life is not fair, and so he wishes to die. In chapter 4, Eliphaz, and let's speak about Eliphaz, the name. Because if you really look up Eliphaz, you'll find out his name is Eliphaz. See, when they give you those English names, like Moses, his name is Moshe. Abraham, called Abraham, but that's the English pronunciation. But I told you, what makes this story powerful is in the Hebrew canon, it's part of an African heritage and part of our people. No one in Europe could have written this because they weren't there before Moses. They weren't there in the time of the history, the events and the culture that we are reading about in this particular story. Paz means my God is pure. Because if you know what Paz, from the word that speaks about fine gold is pure gold. So he's saying, Paz, my God is pure. He's clean. That's what his name means. He was a Temanite. And if you go to Genesis, the 36th chapter, you'll see that these are the sons of Edom. Now, I don't know why Moses chose to have those who was opposing, because these 3 friends, if you look deep into the story, they really take on the part of Satan. They're the ones who are accusing Job, because that's further affliction on his spirit. They're aggravating him by telling him, you had to do something wrong. The Almighty don't do this to people unless they're unrighteous. And Job is declaring, I did nothing wrong. I'm innocent. I'm pure, he's saying. I'm a righteous man. So he doesn't understand. He's getting angrier because the Most High won't come and answer him and tell him why this has happened. That's why he's asked 25 times, if you read this story and more, he says, why? He wants to know, why did this happen to him? And that's what makes the story deep, because it teaches us about life. When we have trouble, we all want to know why too. Maybe we'll find some answers. Job tells the Most High that he's innocent, and he wants him to understand why Yah afflicts people that are innocent, righteous, upright men. Why did he cut them off? And the Creator won't answer. So Job wants to know, I did nothing, what is going on? And you know, his friends are saying, look, Job, only those who sow mischief, those who plow iniquity, you see those expressions that are plowing and sowing, that's what we were talking about. You have to know the idiomatic expressions. You have to know the similes of a agrarian culture, sowing and reaping iniquity. That's beautiful language if you understand writing. And again, he's saying, Job, you had to do something. They're his accusers, just like the devil is accusing him. Bildad is accusing him. Eliphaz, called Eliphaz in Hebrew, he's accusing him. And you know his other friend, Sophar, which they call him Zophar, but if you look in Hebrew, it's not spelled with a Zion. It's a Sadeh. Sophar is his real name, not Zophar, Sophar. And in his name, we find that he means contention. And he is a contentious person. That's why I think how you name your child is very important, to make sure you name something that's not going to play out for bad, but going to play out for good, something that they can ascribe to. So now we know the background of the story, and that's basically, hopefully for those who weren't tuned in last week, but I suggest that you go back and listen to that, and it'll strengthen you as we move forward now in chapter 8. So we pick up our story in chapter 8 of the book of Job, and I just want to say this to everyone. First of all, I thank you for tuning into our program every week. I truly take the time and appreciate the comments. I love when people say shalom, but I listen to see if you really understood the message. And those people who make those type of comments, I really enjoy reading them because I want to know that I'm reaching you. See, a teacher's job is to be understood. Even if you disagree, that's okay. But I don't want you to say I didn't understand what he was saying, it didn't make sense. So I hope and pray everyone will understand, and that at this point in our story, the book of Job, we start now in the 8th chapter and the first verse with Bildad the Shunammite, and he answers Job with a retort. A retort meaning he has a smart answer for him. It's wise, but he's also answered Job and given him some of his wisdom that he wants him to hear and hopefully take his advice. In the 8th chapter, we listen to Bildad the Shuhite, and he answers Job in the following manner. It says,
Then answered Bildad the Shuhite and said,
How long will you speak these things, seeing that the words of your mouth are as a mighty wind? Doth Elohim pervert judgment, or doth the Almighty pervert justice? If your children sinned against him, he delivered them into the hand of their transgression. If you would seek earnestly unto Elohim and make your supplication to the Almighty, if you were pure and upright, surely now he would awake for you.
He's accusing Job, if you read between the lines. He said, if you were righteous, this wouldn't happen to you. If you were pure and upright, none of these things would have occurred. Surely now you should repent, Job. Confess your sin, and maybe, not maybe, but if you're earnest and sincere, he will accept your supplication, and he will bless you and your children. Realize how painful this is when he says to Job, if thy children sinned against him. He's saying that's why they're dead, because they had to do something for him to kill him. You know that got to be painful when you in your sorrow for someone to go back and say something like that and thinking he's speaking wisdom. It says further,
and make the habitation of thy righteousness prosperous. And though thy beginning was small, yet thy end shall greatly increase.
It would increase if you was righteous. You wouldn't go down. You would keep going up if you were righteous.
For inquire, I pray thee, of the former generation, and apply thyself to that which your fathers have searched out. For we are but of yesterday and know nothing.
I love that saying right there. I don't know if you can agree with it, but it applies to all of us. We all have to learn. This is a story for mankind. Wisdom. It says, we human beings are but of yesterday, meaning we're here today and gone tomorrow, and we know nothing. We're not like the Creator have eternity and has been here from the beginning. So that's what it's all about. Come see.
Because our days upon earth are a shadow, shall not they teach you and tell you? and utter words out of their heart?
In other words, shouldn't time be a teaching? My father used to say to me, you learn as long as you're alive. Don't stop learning until the day you die. And that's the same thing that's on these pages. Shall not time be a teacher? Shouldn't we learn from the experiences that we have in our lives? Yes, it says.
Can the rush shoot up without fire?
Giving us a little common sense. He's saying, can a reed grass in a swamp like the reed sea? Can it live without water? Can it spring up without having any mayim? And the answer is no.
Can the reed grass grow without water?
See how the metaphor comes and explains itself? The Bible in the Old Testament does that frequently.
Whilst it is yet in its greenness and not cut down, it withereth before any other herb.
In other words, that's the fastest of all the herbs to die. That's wisdom there. He's telling him, he's saying, man, he's like that grass.
So are the paths of all that forget.
And now he's throwing another insult in there. He's saying, Job, that's why you have withered, because you forgot God. That's what happens. Don't you?
And the hope of the godless man shall perish.
And that's hurtful to Job because he knows he did nothing. We all know that this has been a test from Satan. But again, these men, they're being used. The devil worked through people. So does the Most High. The devil, Satan, is working through them. And again, he doesn't stop after the Most High says, okay, don't kill him. Job is saying, I'm going to put his wife against him, which he did. And, that's how many times righteous people get tested by the people that's closest to you. The husband, the wife, the children, the father, the mother, vice versa. We all have those close people that really, they hurt more when it comes from somebody that's a friend that tells you something like this. Come see.
Whose confidence is gossamer, and whose trust is a spider's web?
Yeah, see, that's what people have to know when you're studying the Bible. You have to know that when you're speaking about a gossamer, you're speaking about the web of a spider, a cobweb. Imagine now, you never went, I've walked through sometime, you go into a building you haven't been in a long time, and you don't see that little spider cobweb there, and you walking in the little stuff that's delicate, because that's the whole idea of this word being used, that it's a delicate, light situation. Don't plant your life and make your life like a spider's web, he's telling Job. Delicate. So where at any time, just like that spider, your confidence, you're going to have some weak confidence if you're an unrighteous man. That hurt Job badly. All of his friends are digging with a knife. The words of a person could be like a knife pierced deeper than a cut on the body. Words can go deeper. They're hurting this man. And as you see later on, the Creator's judging Job, he's judging the three friends, and he's judging me and you. Because while we're listening to this, you're either siding with right or wrong, and that's what this is all about. Is your wisdom and understanding and discernment able to tell you who's right and who's wrong? Because in certain things, what these men are saying is true, but isn't it also true not what you say, but how you say it? That's what's part of this that makes these men wrong, how they do. You can't assume that somebody's wrong and just start speaking when you don't know the facts. Only the Most High know whether this is something he's doing or whether they're actually a sinful, a wicked, an evil person. They're telling Job he's that, and they don't know the truth. You and I know, with hindsight, this man did nothing wrong, but look at how his friends are dealing with him. Come see.
He shall lean upon his house, but it shall not stand.
You got a weak house when you lean on it and it falls down. That's what all of that's saying. And it's true. When you're wicked, your house is going to fall sooner or later. I hope we all agree with that.
He shall hold fast thereby, but it shall not endure.
And Bildad is right in what he's saying to Job. And Job is listening. He's saying, I know this too, you'll see. Some of these things he's insulted because he feels you think I'm inferior to you. I don't know that.
He is green before the sun, and his shoots go forth over his garden.
So it is with a man, touch it.
His roots are wrapped about the heap, and he beholdeth the place of stones.
It's like your roots, your branches grow out and go over rocks and go over the fence. You know, vines go like that.
If he be destroyed from his place, then it shall deny him. I've not seen
So
you.
when he dies, when a person dies, nobody remembers you. Even the place that you left don't even know you going.
Behold, this is the joy of his way, and out of the earth shall others spring.
People are born after you.
Behold, Yah will not cast away an innocent man.
Job, you did something wrong, or he would not have done this to you.
Neither will he uphold the evildoers.
And the people out there that feel like Job, listen, because you may not be someone who is unrighteous as you might be thinking you are. It may be other reasons. You don't know. Let's look and see what we can learn when we're the victim of trouble and worries and calamity like this man Job, because we all know trouble's going to visit us sooner or later, or it has already visited us, it says.
Till he fill your mouth with laughter,
God will make you laugh sooner or later if you just repent and turn to him.
and your lips with shouting.
And he'll make you shout praises after he lifts you up, after you fell down. And all of us know who've had this happen, and they're elders and young people alike that have had lives, and they knew he bailed me out of my trouble. I didn't have my rent, and he brought it to me. I didn't know how I was going to find my way to get into school, and all of a sudden I got into college, and I didn't know how I was going to pass that test, and I thought I was going to fail, but I passed. I prayed to the Most High. He delivers us. That's what this story is about. It's to strengthen, as I said, those that have a sad heart, because when you're down, you need lifting up, and hopefully the thoughts that are part of this wisdom will lift up your spirit.
And they that hate you shall be clothed with shame.
Yes, that's what happens to your enemies.
And the tent of the wicked shall be no more.
The house of the wicked people that come up against you, because sometimes it's people that did it to you. Don't tit for tat. Let Jehovah fight your battles. Tamshi.
Chapter 9. Then Job answered. And
Now
said,
Job has been listening to Bildad, and he doesn't like a word he says, because he doesn't feel that he's comforting him. They're making Job sadder and angry every time they speak. So here comes Job with his retort to them. Everybody has wisdom, but they're giving it back and forth. But let's see what Job retorts and how he answered him with his skillful knowledge, because that's what they feel Job is doing. He's crafty with his words. He's skillful. He's using guile to try to turn his unrighteousness and fool people and make them think that he's an innocent and righteous man, because his boasting makes them feel that way. And maybe you and I should ask ourselves, is man ever righteous before Yah? Let's think about it. It says,
Of a truth I know that it is so. And how can man be just with Yah? If one should desire to contend with him, he could not answer him of one of 1,000.
in other words, if God said 1,000 words, you only can get one word out, because you can't answer him word for word. He has so many wrongs that we have done against him. When he lined up that list, you can't come up, you hardly a wise man, don't want to open up his mouth. Don't you?
He is wise in heart and mighty in strength.
Yeah, you know you can't. Even if you could answer him like your mother and your father, sometimes they slap you because you went too far. You crossed that line with your mouth. You can do that with the Most High also.
What hardened himself against him and prospered?
I'd like you to tell me that, name it. Moses didn't.
Who removed the mountain?
David didn't. You tell me anybody that went against him and did wrong, not only with their mouth, they didn't do what he told them to do. They didn't win.
Who removed the mountains and they know it not, when he overturned them in his anger?
You know, I never thought about that. The mountain don't even know when he moves. That's some powerful stuff there, if you understand. No one can answer him. The creation, mountains and hills and seas, he made them. He do whatever he want with it. He can dry them up, cut them down and make them a valley. That's what he's saying to you. Don't you understand? You can't go up against the power of the Almighty.
Who shaketh the earth out of her place, and the pillars thereof
I
tremble?
never seen nobody stand still during an earthquake, and I never want to be in one.
Who commanded the sun, and it riseth not, and sealeth up the stars? Who alone stretched out the heavens, and treadeth upon the waves of the sea? Who maketh the bear, Orion, and Pleiades?
Oh, let's stop there, because let's look at the Hebrew. That's beautiful when you understand this here, because this is number 9, verse 9. It says, well, ose ash, ash. Ash is the bear. Kisiel is Orion. These are constellations. The bear is the great bear in the constellations. Orion is also one of the constellations, and Pleiades is also called with Kima, with Kadre, Taman. In other words, in the south. That's that word Taman. That's what it means also, the south. So again, we're looking at the understanding that our forefathers even knew about constellations and the planets, and that's why we could tell the seasons and knew when Passover and Aviv was, and this is part of a writing that lets you know we weren't foolish and stupid. These are wise, ancient people. Wisdom started in Africa. No one can deny it. That's where life began, in the east, not in the west. In line 10, it says,
And the chambers of the south, who doeth great things past finding out?
and everybody knows that. You can't figure out what Yah does. And why do we say Yah? Because that's the only one you can put in this story. JC's never been born yet. None of the other gods, they're not even in existence. They're people to make them haven't even come. The Pope is not here. And look at that. Creator can afflict anyone. And it's not a joke, because I'm just showing you his power. The Pope just had an operation last week. Who does he pray to? Everybody, the kings, the queens, that's what they're going to tell you in this. Nobody's great before the Most High, it says.
Yea, marvelous things without number.
You can't even count the miracles that he does. It's called niflot.
Lo, he goeth by me, and I see him not.
Most High can go right past you and you wouldn't even know it, because you can't see him. That's what Job is saying. Nobody don't even know where he's at. He can come by you and you don't even perceive him.
He passeth on also, but I perceive him not. Behold, he snatcheth away.
He'd take a life and pull you out, and who can stop him?
Who can hinder him? Who will say unto him,
What are you doing? Don't take my mother, don't take my father. You tell me, nobody. Nobody can do that.
What doest thou? Yah will not.
You can't ask Yah what he's doing. That's like sometimes when you say a parent, you say to the parent, you say, don't do that. And you say, why? He said, because I told you. That's what my parents used to say. You know, when someone's superior, they don't have to give you an explanation for everything. Come see.
Yah will not withdraw his anger. The helpers of Rahab did stoop under him.
Even he overthrew Egypt. He don't care nothing about nations. They're nothing before him is what he's saying. You just got to know that Rahab is referring to that sea and that Nile River. Come see.
How much less shall I answer him and choose out my arguments with him?
He's saying that Job, you can see, this is part of what you have to extract out of Job's argument. He's talking about what happened to him. He's not insulting the Creator. His argument is, I did nothing. Come see.
Whom, though I were righteous, yet I will not answer.
He said, even if I was righteous, he said, I wouldn't talk back to God and answer him, but he's doing it right now in a sort of a way that is not pleasing to the Most High. You won't know that until later. I'll prove it later on, but that's part of Job's wrong. He's not justifying Yah, he's justifying his own righteousness.
I will make supplication to him that contendeth with me.
He said, I will still talk with him and try to find out, like, what's your side of the story?
If I had called and had answered me, yet will I not believe that he would hearken unto
He
my
said, I don't
voice.
think he'll answer me, but this is how I feel. That's what another thing I want to let you know. When you have feelings and thoughts, is it good to just keep it there? Or is it a problem when you let your thoughts come out your mouth? See, that's what I want you to think about too. You should think a lot of things, even that's what you have to do. Good and bad is in your mind. but you got to know certain things you don't bring out your mouth. They stay in your mind. Because to bring it out your mouth is where you become wrong. To think it and not do it is not a sin. But speaking, that's why they say put a guard over your mouth, because you can say things that offend the Most High. Come shoot.
He that will break me with his tempest, multiply my wounds without cause.
He said the Most High got so much power, he could get so angry, just his anger can kill me.
That would not suffer me to take my breath.
See, all of us that's listening, we should be saying, yep, he got that power. He can do it to me also. This is true. Job is speaking the truth.
But fill me with bitterness.
And then he can fill you with bitterness and let you live. See, dying sometimes is a blessing. I've seen people that were suffering, and man, you in that hospital and you just suffering in pain day and night for years, you know that death would be welcome than to have a lifetime of just pain and suffering, and you're not going to get better. That's what Job is saying. Y'all can do that to you.
If it be a matter of strength, lo, he is mighty.
No contest.
And if of justice,
no contest.
Who will appoint me a time?
In other words, he's saying the Most High is eternal, and I can never judge him. And when it comes to my time, my days are numbered, everybody. Even if you're righteous.
Though I be righteous, mine own mouth shall
Once you
condemn
start
me.
speaking about your righteousness, that did that. That destroyed your righteousness because you thought you were righteous.
Though I be innocent, he shall prove me perverse.
That's right, because all human beings know that we did something. Even if you didn't do it at the time of your blessings, you did it before. Man that is born of a woman is not only full of trouble. When you pass through that blood of a woman, you're passing through that sin that was in the beginning. Because the first sin, when Adam approached Eve, she was in her menstrual. That's what that blood represents. It's symbolic that every man is born in sin. Because your first father, Adam, and your first mother, they sinned. We all born in their sin. We're their children. It's an understanding. Get wisdom, get knowledge. But above all, you got to understand the scriptures. It says,
I am innocent. I regard not myself.
Nobody should say you're innocent. You're not.
I despise my life.
Yeah, if you think you're innocent and things happen to you, yeah, you're going to despise your life because you're not thinking the right way. That's what makes people have sad hearts. They're thinking. If you think positive, you'll have another feeling, it says.
It is all one. Therefore I say, he destroyed the innocent and the wicked.
He said the wicked and the righteous, they die. Sounds like Solomon in Ecclesiastes. He said, what's the sense of anybody being born? Everybody's going to die anyway, whether you're good or bad. So what is it all about? Let's think and see. It is something to it, but that's something to think about. But if you get the wisdom, you know the answer. The people out there that know the wisdom know the answer. Let me ask you this question. How many wish they were never born? See, that's it, because you didn't have to be here. Then you wouldn't even be thinking about dying or worrying about that. But when you think about the people you love, the people that love you, and the fun that you've had, it hasn't always been bad. You've had some good times, and it's not over. You don't know what's to come. Just think about it. That's what this is about. Reasoning, thinking. As a man thinketh, as a woman thinketh, so is he, so is she. You got to have the right thoughts to make life good and make it something you can handle and deal with. Come shoot.
If the scourge slay suddenly, he will mock at the calamity of the guiltless. The earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He covered the faces of the judges thereof.
He judges everybody. He mocks and laughs at people that think they're innocent, and even the wicked. He says the earth is given into the hand of the wicked because that's what a lot of people feel, that I live a righteous life. Why things happen bad to me, and my friend over there is so evil, and he keeps prospering, she keeps having blessings, and look what's happened to me. I keep the Shabbat, I come out for Passover, I do all the laws, and look at my life.
If it not be he, who then is
Then if it's not the Most High that's doing it, and that's who my argument is against, then tell me who it is.
Now my days are swifter than a runner.
Before I know it, life is gone.
They flee away. They see no good. They are passed away as the swift ships. as a vulture that swoopeth on the prey.
That's another metaphor, beautiful. You know, when a vulture comes down to get a chicken in Guyana and in certain countries, you see that. He don't come slow because that chicken will get out the way, that prey will get away. He comes with speed. That's why them vultures have big wings and they're strong birds and they zoom down on that prey. He said, that's how life is. You just out of here before you know it. Swiftly are you gone.
If I say, I will forget my complaints.
He said, I'm not going to, because to tell you he's complaining right there. He said, this is why I'm complaining. If I forget my complaint, what'll happen?
I will put off my sad countenance and be of good cheer.
He said, and then I'll start faking it. Okay, so now I'm really sad, but you want me to laugh about it and make a cheerful face all about it. Let's see what happens, what he says to that.
I am afraid of all my pains. I know thou wilt not hold me.
He said, you're not going to forgive me. You're going to hold that against me. That's why sometimes I saw in a song like a woman whose man, let's say they break up, and you see him laughing with people and what have you, and he says, don't think because I'm laughing that I don't love you, I'm sad. He said, I'm just doing that to fool the public. But in my heart, I'm hurt, baby, I lost you. Don't look at me at this party and see that I'm dancing with other women, and then you just think that, oh, he ain't even thinking about me, he got over me easy. That's what the Most High is saying about life here. He said, don't let my trying to be happy, Yehovah, then you're going to hold me guilty for that because I ain't accepting, I'm not acting like I'm in pain, I ain't acting like I'm sad and sorrow, and you afflicted me. Oh, it's something to think about.
I shall be condemned. Why then do I labor in vain?
What is life all about then? Why are we going through all of this?
If I wash myself with snow water and make my hands never so clean,
Yeah.
will thou plunge me in the ditch?
He said that soap and water don't make clean. I'm still going to die anyway into the ditch I'm going, and you're going to plunge me down in there.
And mine own clothes shall abhor me.
He said, if my garments, they going to hold me because they're going to rot in the grave with me.
For he is not a man as I am, that I should answer him.
Oh, that's wisdom. The Creator's not a man. That's what the Christians should understand. That's why they don't know the books before their book gives them the wisdom that their book is not right. You're not aligned with the truth. You added a different story to the word and to the meaning and the understanding of the Creator, even as to who he is. You even changed him to be a man. And that's what he's telling. Job is saying back then, he knows, Moses knew. Yah is not a man that he should lie, nor the son of man that he should repent.
That we should come together in judgment. There is no arbiter betwixt us.
Nobody can be a person that's going to take sides and say, in other words, you're going to be the mediator between God and man. Nobody can do that. You know, Satan can't be it. So there's no one. He's the Most High.
That might lay his hand upon us both.
And say, you're both my friends. Both of you okay. Nobody, I love you and I love you. No, that don't happen in life.
Let him take his rod away from me. Let not his terror make me afraid.
Said, just don't let him hit me, hurt me. Don't let him frighten me, and I'll speak.
Then will I speak and not fear him, for I am not so with myself.
He said, that's why I do it. He said, because I gotta speak, because I'm hurt and I'm in pain. And he's in so much pain. You see, they take one chapter, Job going on to the next chapter, because Job got a lot of speech for them because he's filled up with words. But let's take this chapter and then we'll take a break and just refresh our souls with thought.
My soul is weary of my life. I will give free course to my complaint.
I'm going to say whatever I want to say because I'm hurt.
I will speak in the bitterness of my soul.
A lot of people out there feel like that, but it's not wise to do that rashly. You better make sure you control your words and put it in a prayer. Let me interject this. Wouldn't it be better had Job been more humble now? Because that's one of the lessons that I'm telling you that you'll learn from this. Humility is very important when you're hurting, not anger. Be more humble. Do more good to get the favor back to you. Don't complain about it. You did something, and as you'll see later, it's going to come up. He probably gives us less than what we deserve. You hear that, what I just said? It's going to come up in this story. He has not dealt with us according to our doings and our ways. He doesn't exact us Punishment for sin, punishment for sin. He lets us get away with his mercy with a lot of things. And people need to think about that when they're finally caught and when trouble comes in your life. Tamshi.
I will say unto Yah, do not condemn me. Make me know wherefore thou contendest with me.
Why have you done this to me? Here's one of those whys.
Is it good unto thee that thou shouldst oppress?
Are you happy to do this to people? He's asking the Most High. You like oppressing people?
That thou shouldst despise the work of thy hands?
Did the thing that you made, you don't like it?
And shine upon the counsel of the wicked?
Yes, and you're gonna shine light on people that are wicked. They're spotlighting our evil.
As thou eyes of flesh?
Do you see like we see?
Or seest thou as man seeth?
That's the same thing.
Are thy days as the days of man?
Yeah, do you live like we live, don't you? No, we know that he's from everlasting to everlasting. Or your days and your years as a man's days?
That thou inquirest after mine iniquity?
That's why you search after our iniquity. And Job is speaking about himself. But a lot of people that feel like Job might have thought like this, change your thinking.
And searchest after my sin?
And you're searching our sins like that? No. We should ask ourselves, I remember when those men spoke to Moses, just came into mind. They said, shall we all die that we go into the tent of meeting and we can't touch the holy things like the Levites? You don't have to die. Just stay out of the tent of meeting. You don't have to die. Just reduce your sins and your iniquity. He has no delight in our death. He tells us that in Ezekiel 33:18, he tells us, I have no delight in your death, but only that you would change your ways. He asked the question, he says, are my ways equal, O Israel, or are your ways unequal? To all mankind, is the Creator's ways unequal, or our humanity's ways unequal, unfair, unrighteous? That's the question, and we all know the answer.
Although thou knowest that I shall not be condemned, and there's none that can deliver out of thy hand, thy hands have framed me and fashioned me
He
together.
made us,
about.
he knows us. Yes, he knows everything about us.
Yet thou dost destroy me.
Yes, because you realize if man had not sinned in the beginning, you had an opportunity to immortality. That sin in Adam, imagine this, all of us being murderers, liars, cheats, thieves, robbers, adulterers, and we could live forever. What kind of world would we have? Add all the other sins that people are doing. We're sinners, but we can live eternally. That's why you had to die, because death stops all that mess that we're doing. You want to live long? Be as righteous as you can, because righteousness lengthens days, it says.
Remember, I beseech thee, that thou hast fashioned me as clay, and wilt thou bring me into dust again?
He remembers he said, yeah, because man is not immortal. You blew it. Now, how logically should we get back to immortality? You'd have to be righteous again. So everybody should be striving after righteousness, because that we know and we're told in the Torah, it lengthens our days. It says.
Hast thou not poured me out as milk?
Yes.
And curdled me like cheese?
Yeah, that's how it looks at us. In other words, we just like on a mole, and he brings us out of life. The mole was your mother's womb, in case you don't understand.
Thou hast clothed me with skin and flesh, and knit me together with bones and sinews.
And that's a beautiful, wonderful thing right there. Wonderfully how we made eyes, ears. And my people are beautiful brown brows, sapodilla brown complexion. Got all the beauty and skin color and tone. Beautiful eyes, that beautiful hair, brown and black, and that rough, strong hair on your head. Or curly, because some of them have curly, soft hair. Oh, we got the whole gamut in our people, men and women, beauty incomparable.
Thou hast granted me life with favor, and thy providence have preserved.
Made you, Israel, his chosen people.
Yet these things thou didst hide in thy heart. I know that this is with thee.
That's what we all should know. All these things of power and wisdom and knowledge and understanding and Goodness is with Yah.
If I sin, then thou markest me.
That's why he marks us. And everybody gets marked when you sin. But Job did nothing. That's why he's complaining.
And thou wilt not acquit me from mine iniquity.
This is a trial and a test that teaches us that no one can be righteous before Yah.
If I be wicked, woe unto me.
Right?
If I be righteous, yet shall I not lift up my head.
Yes, because you're no different, you're no better, you're no greater before God. You don't add nothing to God's profit by being a righteous person. You don't make him any greater, any better. It's to your good that you're righteous.
Being filled with ignominy and looking upon mine affliction.
Yes, we're ignorant. And that's what he's saying. He's now saying, I don't know much. That's what we all should understand. And if exalt itself,
Thou huntest me as a lion, and again thou showest thyself marvelous upon me.
yeah, he said, you can do anything you want. You have the power. You can chew us all up like we're nothing.
He knows thy witnesses against me.
Yes, you know everything. You can bring up everybody, your angels see everything we do. We can never say, no, I didn't lie. They know we did, and you know we did. Everything's reported to you.
And increases thine indignation upon me. Hosts succeeding hosts against me.
Yes, everybody. She said, the earth, the wind, my children was killed by an army, fire burnt up my house and killed my servant. He said, all your powers are against me, your whole host, in heaven and in the earth.
Wherefore hast thou brought me forth out of the womb?
Why? Again, why did you even give me birth?
Woe that I had perished, and no eye had seen me.
I wish nobody ever saw me, Job was saying. You feel that way? Anybody out there, you know you cannot feel this bad, that you wish nobody never saw you. You know you've had some love, somebody that showed you some kindness, somebody that made you feel good. Well, at least you have somebody. And if you don't have nobody, let me tell you, when everybody leaves you, Yah never does. The Most High never leaves you. He's there with you in your trouble all the time. Just remember that.
I should have been as though I had not been. I should have been carried from the womb to the grave.
To the people that feel like that. There are people out there, and I hope all those that are listening that don't feel that way, pray for the others. Because you've been sad at some time or another. You know what it's like to lose a loved one, and there are people that have lost their mothers, their fathers, their sisters, their friends, and they're hurt. They themselves have been afflicted. People in hospitals that found out they're sick with cancer or some other disease, terminal. They're out there listening like you are. Pray for them now. They need our prayers. We all need lifting up at some time or another. And prayer helps. It helps. Come shoot.
Are not my days few?
All of our days are few.
Seize them and let me alone, that I may take comfort a little.
That's what Job is saying. Leave me alone. If Yah leaves us alone for a minute, we're gone. He turned his back just for a moment, and we were in slavery for over 3,500 years. That's how quick it happened.
Before I go, whence I shall not return,
Before I die and don't come back.
even to the land of darkness and of the shadow of death.
Yeah, that's what the grave is. It's dark down there. And it's dark when you don't have no eyes, you don't have no more thoughts, you don't see anything. He's saying that that's a place, and he's just using language, descriptive language to say death is a dark place. It's very dark, it's thick darkness.
A land of thick darkness, as darkness itself.
That's right, man. You can't see your hand in front of your face when you're dead. You don't see nothing, in other words to say.
A land of the shadow of death.
Without any order. You don't have breakfast, no lunch. There ain't no 12 o'clock time, no time to go nowhere to do nothing. Yeah, it's humorous when you think about it, because it is. It's part of life. Hey, they don't have lunch breaks. They don't go to the beach for a few minutes. They don't say, let's go and look at the stars when you're dead. It's over.
And where the light is as darkness.
That's right. It's all no more light. There's no more knowledge, no more wisdom, no more. You won't need it when you're dead. Wisdom is needed when you're alive. It's for the living. Let's listen to some drumming for a few moments. Meditate on the wonderful thoughts I hope we all have been having. And then we'll come back with Yod, chapter 11. We're thankful to Mishpaka drummers, Mikubaja, his band, and to the son of Chief Uziel. Again, all of them are beloved sons of mine. I love them all and so thankful that they're carrying on the praise of Yah in the manner that they do. Everything that we all do adds to the glory of Yah. Just find out what your portion is and do it to praise the Holy One of Israel. We thank Mishpaka drummers. We're going to hear more of them today. Now we, of course, enter in chapter 11, and Zophar, called Zophar, is now going to speak. He's listened to the long conversation of Job, and he hears Job saying how innocent he is. Eliphaz, Bildad, and he so far sit there and listen to Job's boasting, saying he's pure, he's clean in his own eyes. And so we pick up our reading in the 11th chapter with the retort that comes from the third of these men. You can see as the story goes on that Eliphaz is probably the elder or the one who's the chief amongst them. He speaks first. No one ever says, pardon me, I have an interruption. If you notice, everybody's taking their turn to talk. And that's another good thing we can learn, to listen without interrupting. And so again, of course, this is the story, but note that that's taking place. And now comes the third in the protocol, because you can see every time they come back, it'll come back with Eliphaz and Bildad. And so far they come in the order of their protocol to let you know nobody speaks before Eliphaz. He's the senior, the elder. They acknowledge it. Here comes so far. Remember, Elihu is sitting there, the youth. He hasn't said a word. He's just listening to everybody. But there's a young youth, a boy, teenager perhaps, or in his early 20s, young man, sitting there listening to all this wisdom, and he's discerning too. If you're that young person in the audience, what would you have to say to these elders? Do you see Job's side and their side? Because maybe you can be wise enough to speak as Elihu, or maybe you can learn from what he learned by listening. That's the key. How good a listener are you? Because in this type of reading, and when you read the Bible, that's why they say when you come to the house of Yah, be ready to hearken. If you come to this program, this ain't church. You got to be ready to listen. I'm not going to be saying, oh, Lord, all day long. No, that's not good. This is teaching. That's why you got to be able to listen, think, reason, and we're not going too fast, but it's a difference. That's why this program is not like what you hear on Sunday. Just compare it, and you'll see the difference. 11th chapter, first verse, Zophar speaking wisdom to Job.
Then answered Sophar, the Naamathite, and said,
Should not the multitude of words be answered? And should a man full of talk be accounted right? Thy boastings have made men hold their peace.
Everybody's being quiet because you keep bragging about how righteous you are.
And thou hast mocked with none to make thee ashamed.
You've been laughing at the Most High and truth, and nobody's here to make you ashamed. We're here to tell you something different.
And thou hast said, my doctrine is pure, and I am clean in thine eyes. But oh, that Elohim would speak and open his lips against thee.
And so he's acting as though he's speaking for Elohim, of course, it says.
And that he would tell thee the secrets of wisdom.
And we can have the wisdom of Yah. Let's see if he has any.
That sound wisdom is manifold. Know therefore that Elohim exacteth of thee less than thy iniquity.
That making Job feel bad. I told you. He's saying you deserve more than what has happened to you. Consider yourself blessed that Yehovah didn't do more to you because of all those sins, and the fact that you also speaking out and you're saying, in other words, I'm innocent and pure.
Canst thou find out the deep things of Yah? Canst thou attain unto the purpose of the Almighty?
In other words, all of us are listening. We are asking ourselves in our reasoning personally, can we, any of us, know what and why Yah does what he does?
It is high as heaven. What canst thou do? Deeper than the nether world. What canst thou know?
He's saying to human beings, to Job and to all of us, you know nothing. The Most High's thoughts are higher than our thoughts. His ways are higher than our ways.
The measure thereof is longer than the earth,
You can't measure the broadness of Yah's knowledge, his wisdom, his power.
and broader than the sea. If he pass by and shut up or gather in, then who can hinder him?
Who can stop Yah from doing anything?
For he knoweth base men.
And if you're a troubled person, this is the type of reason that you want to have. It's strengthening to know the strength of God, because now you know that's where your help comes from.
And when he seeth iniquity, will he not then consider it?
He said, and it's true. And all they had to do is say, just not accusing Job. They just had to speak these words. Their words are right, but you're accusing an innocent man.
But an empty man will get understanding when
When an ass
wild
is caught,
ass
is born a man.
is born a man.
He said, when a donkey has a son for a man, that's when a fool will learn something.
If thou set thy heart to it and stretch out thy hands towards him,
And he's saying that Job is that man. He's dumb as ass. That's what he's letting Job know. Job picks it up. You can say it as nice as you want, but he knows you're talking about him.
if iniquity be in thy hand, put it far away.
He's saying you not if. He's already told you did something. Job said that if ain't there. Job said, you telling me I sinned, put it away. And you and I know, let's not forget, Satan came before Yah. The Most High was boasting about Job. Have you seen anyone like my servant Job, upright, righteous, shuns evil? And the Satan said, oh yeah, of course. All the blessings you've given him, but let me test him, let me try him, put your hand on him, and let's see what he'll do then. Job has not cursed the Creator. In that we can say he's patient, but I'll ask you, do you think Job was patient with all of his complaining and waiting for help to come, or waiting for relief, waiting for the mercies of Yah? You gotta wait that. I can't tell you everything. Yah don't even tell you everything. In life, your mother and father can't tell you everything. You gotta figure out some things for yourself, weighing both sides. You gotta come up with the answer. Every tub, says Cohane Levi ben Yisrael, sits on its own bottom. You've probably heard it from other people as well. We of a Shabbat heard it frequently. Tamshi.
And let not unrighteousness dwell in thy tents. Surely then shalt thou lift up thy face without spot.
See, that's another thought right there. A lot of people are righteous, but how's your household? So you better make sure everybody in your house is right. That means fathers and mothers, you on the case. You're observing what your children, what everybody in that house is doing, and you're making sure they stay on the right path, because anybody in the house sin can bring trouble on us all. That's how it works in the house. And if something happened to you terrible, we all gonna be hurt, and that's gonna be trouble and sadness for us anyway. So it's to our benefit to make sure everybody in the house does the right thing. We are each other's keeper, even in our nation. Tamshi.
Yea, thou shalt be steadfast and shalt not fear. For thou shalt forget thy misery. Thou shalt remember it as waters that are passed away.
Steadfast righteousness will bring relief sooner or later.
And thy life shall be clearer than the noonday. Though there be darkness,
You might have
it
trouble
shall be at
sometime.
morning.
In the morning, sun gonna shine. Sooner or later, that trouble is gonna turn into a blessing, into a good time to get.
And thou shalt be secure, because there is hope.
That's when you're secure, when you know you can pray and the Most High will answer you. When you know that he's always there to help you, that's strength.
Yea, thou shalt look about thee and shalt take thy rest in safety. Also, thou shalt lie down, and none shall make thee
You
afraid.
can have peace in your life if you do the right thing and if you repent.
Yea, many shall make suit unto thee.
In other words, you're going to have people that are going to make suit. In other words, they're going to appeal to a high authority. See, that's what this suit is about. You go into a high, when you're righteous, you can go and appeal your case. But when you're unrighteous, who you go to? Nobody can help you.
But the eyes of the wicked shall fail, and they shall have no way to flee.
See, the wicked don't have that help. They don't have hope like that.
And their hope shall be the drooping of the soul.
In other words, you're going to go lower and lower. You're going to just get more and more pain. If you notice, so far, said a few words. Maybe we can look at the verses and you can check them and you'll see that nobody's as lengthy as Job. Here comes Job's again. Somebody else has vexed his spirit. This time it was so far, he said, Eliphaz, Bildad. Now, so far, and Job has something to tell him too. What's he telling him? And when he speaks to so far, he's speaking to all three of them because he wants them to know, you sound just like your brothers. Come see.
Then Job answered and said,
No doubt, but ye are the people, and wisdom shall die with you.
Oh boy, that's look how Job comes in like right away. He strikes at them right away. Oh, right. So you are right. Wisdom gonna die with you. Everything you all say, that's it, right? There's no other conversation. But
I have understanding as well as you.
I can tell you some things too. This ain't no one way, just reprimand me and I ain't open my mouth. I didn't do anything and I'm gonna keep saying it over and over. That's what Job was saying. I'm righteous. He can never be righteous, but that's his position and that's angering them and they're telling me sin, it's angering him, angry in him.
I am not inferior to you.
I am not lower than you.
Yea, who knows not such things as these?
All these wisdom that you're speaking, I know that. You ain't telling me nothing new. You've heard people that say that.
I am as one that is a laughing stock to his neighbor. A man had called upon Yah, and he answered him.
He said, in other words, I'm the man that I called on Yah, and he sent y'all here to laugh at me.
Just, the innocent man is a laughing stock.
He said, you are the ones laughing at me. You here aggravating me more with all the trouble I have the way you talking to me.
A contemptible brand in the thought of him that is at ease.
Yeah, he said, yeah, a contemptible thought in the one who's at ease. Yeah, you got disrespect for me because you don't have my trouble.
A thing ready for them whose foot slippeth.
Yes, he said, yeah, thing ready for them whose foot slippeth. He said, yeah, my foot is slipped already. You ain't falling down like I have. You thinking about already, I'm in the trouble. Don't you get it?
The tents of robbers prosper,
People that do evil, they prosper.
and they that provoke Yah are secure.
Is that true? You know it? I'd say those are the ones who are in slippery places. The wicked and the evil, they walk in slippery places.
Whatsoever Yah bringeth into their hand. But ask now the beasts, and they shall
Job,
teach
you don't know nothing. Job was saying, you're so stupid. Talk to the cattle. Talk to the wild animals. Maybe they can teach you something.
And the fowls of the air, and they shall tell thee,
Or speak to the earth
and it shall teach thee,
and to the fish in the sea.
shall declare unto thee. Who knoweth not among all these?
Everybody know what you're talking about. And even the animals know that's true, that the hand of Jehovah have wrought this, that what happened to me, God did it.
In whose hand is the soul of every living thing,
Everything is in his hand.
and the breath of all
I
mankind.
heard that song that say he's got the whole world in his hand. It's right there in the scriptures. It's true.
Doth not the ear try words, even as a palate tasteth its
Just
food?
the way you taste food, your ear's supposed to taste words and be able to get something out of that, just like you get the taste of a food when you eat it.
Is wisdom with aged men,
It's only the elderly wise.
and understanding in length of days?
And it's how long you live that makes you wise? No, you'll see that when Elihu speaks. It's not about age.
With him is wisdom and might. He had counsel and
And
understanding.
he can give it to anyone he wants, to a young person or an elderly. You just have to seek it earnestly and you'll find it.
Behold, he break it down, and it cannot be built again.
That's right. Whatever y'all tear down, you ain't gonna restore it. You better believe it.
He shuteth up a man, and there can be no
When he
opening.
shut a door, no one can open it. Shut the door of your grave, nobody will get you out of there. They're going to bring that up later in the 14th chapter about that death story that the Christians twisted around. But the truth in the Hebrew scriptures let you know you don't rise from no dead.
But behold, he withholdeth the waters, and they dry up.
That's right. He controls it all, the creator and maker of heaven and earth, called Habore.
Also, he sendeth them out, and they overturn the earth. With him is strength and sound wisdom. The deceive and the deceiver are his. He leadeth counselors away stripped.
Teshuva, Tushiva, Tushiya, with Tushiya. Look in line 16. What Emo owes, with him is strength. With Tushiya, lo, and sound wisdom is his. That's what it's speaking about in that verse. That's verse number 16. So we want to understand Yah has sound wisdom. Tushiya, the Hebrew word. It's also in the 8th proverb. Tamshi.
He leadeth counselors away stripped, and judges maketh he fools.
That's right. Turned wise men backward.
He loosed the bond of kings, and bindeth their loins with a girdle.
So letting you know, a prince and a principal, a prime minister, they're nothing to me. A pope, a priest, they're going to name them. They're nothing in Yah's sight.
He leadeth priests away stripped.
See what I tell you? I'm nothing. I tell you all of that. All mankind is nothing. The nations are nothing in his sight.
And overthrow the mighty.
I don't care how wise or how strong you think you are, Yah can overthrow you.
He removed the speech of men of trust, and taketh away the sense of the elders.
That's right. He can forgive. He can account iniquity unto you. He can drive an elder and make them stupid. No fool like an old fool.
He poured contempt upon the princes.
You don't care about no princes. Men are nothing. Women are nothing before the Creator. Humble yourself and understand who we're dealing with. El Shaddai, Ha-El-Yon, the Almighty, the Most High, rules this universe. And everybody should bow down and worship him.
And loosed the belt of the strong.
And that tells you that it's an insult to make him a god and say that somebody can hang him on a cross and kill him. It's an insult, it's an abomination.
He uncovered deep things out of darkness.
How can you touch it? You can't even see it.
And bring out to the light the shadow of death.
And who can go in death but him and be in life at the same time? He's everywhere.
He increased the nations and destroyed them.
Who can contend with him?
He enlarged the nations and leaded them away.
Don't you understand the wisdom? This is all truth.
He take away the heart of the chiefs of the people of the land.
Job is saying that no leader, you put your trust in a man, he's too little to be accounted.
And caused them to wander in a wilderness.
Take your leader away and have you wander one help. And you better say, my help is in Yehovah that made heaven and earth, and you'll never get it.
Where there is no way. They grope in the dark without lights, and he maketh them to stagger like a drunken man.
That's right. When you put your trust in man and Yehovah take your leader away, then if you don't have Yah as your guide, you're going to be in trouble. Lo,
mine eye had seen all this.
See, Job always have a lot to say. When a man is hurt, like him, and then you get friends, so-called friends that come around and jug you with a little vexation of knives, it makes you feel this way. Shouldn't a friend be compassionate? Something to think about. Shouldn't the people that come to uplift us come with good intentions, come with love? That's what we all can learn from these friends that are speaking to Job. It says,
mine ear hath heard and understood it. What he know, do I also know.
He said, I know what you're not telling me things good. You're making me feel bad. I'm not inferior to you.
Notwithstanding, I will speak to the Almighty.
He said, even though you're saying these things, I'm talking to Yah, not to you.
And I desire to reason with Yah.
I want to reason with the Most High. Can we reason with the Most High? That's the question.
But ye are plasterers of lies.
And the Most High says, come and let us reason together. But how do you do that reasoning? You better know how to reason with them.
Ye are all physicians of no value. Or that you would altogether hold your peace.
He said, you guys are no doctors. You're doctors of no value. You should have left your medicine home. Because you ain't bringing no healing to me with all this stuff you telling me.
And it will be your wisdom.
You're just plastering the lies. That's all you're doing, just plastering lies up on the wall and putting them in front of me. You're making me feel bad.
Hear now my reason, and hearken to the pleadings of my lips.
So just listen to me, and listen and accept what I'm telling you.
Will he speak unrighteously for Yah?
Are they speaking unrighteously for God? That's what all of us who are listening should be able to figure out. The answers are going to come out in the story. What do you think at this point? They speaking unrighteously? Is Job speaking unrighteously? If he is, where are they speaking unrighteously? Now how? And where? Because we know certainly there's wisdom on these pages. We've seen it on both sides. That's why I always say there's two sides to a story. I do a lot of counseling. The husband tells me his side. I see he have points in there, but I also know he's wrong 1, 2, 3. Then the Easter comes and says, well, here's my side of it. I hear her making points about him. They're true. He's acknowledging she's right, but he's pointing out faults that she don't see. They don't see their own faults, but they always see the other person's fault. And that's what I'm hoping you'll be able to look deeper, think deeper in life, and you'll get the answers. Because if you're the teacher, the priest, you better be able to figure out who's right and wrong. The worst thing you could do is be a counselor that's leading both of them astray. You're not taking sides. That's what Yah don't do. You listen to the facts. They're not listening to the facts. That's why Job is saying, you don't have no facts that I did anything. Why are you saying I did something wrong? I'm innocent. I'm she.
And talk deceitfully for him? Will he show him favor?
He said, you're speaking deceitfully for God. You're lying on behalf of the Most High.
Will he contend for Yah?
In other words, you think you're representing him?
Will it be good that he should search you out?
What if he searched you out and see what your life is like?
Or as one mocketh a man, will he mock him? Will he surely reprove you?
He said, would he correct you? Are you wrong?
If you do secretly show favor.
In other words, that's a good question. If you got something else in your heart that's not sincere, when you so-called act like you're on the outside, like you're there to lift the person up, but you're not there to really do that. You really want to tear them down. Maybe because of the envy, Joe had all this blessed life, and now seeing the good blessed person suffer, some people enjoy that because they feel now it's come under you. Now you know what we've been going through. Is that right? Think about it. I know the answer. You should too.
Shall not his majesty terrify you and his dread fall upon you?
Shouldn't it do that to everyone? The fear of Yah is the beginning of wisdom.
Your memorials shall be like unto ashes, your eminences to eminences of clay. Hold your peace. Let me alone that I may speak.
Yes, he's saying be quiet.
Let come on me that what will.
Whatever going to happen, I'm going to say what I'm going to say. Keep your mouth shut because you're not helping me feel any better.
Wherefore, I will take my flesh in my teeth and put my life in my hand.
He said, I'll just eat up my life. I don't want to live no more. Though he slay me,
yet will I trust in him.
I trust Yah. See, he ain't losing that. But his argument about his own righteousness, that's what it's all about. He's not speaking in terms of Yah's righteousness, that he can do anything he wants to do. And we can never come and say we're righteous before the Creator, because no man is pure. No man is completely without sin. Perfect. Perfection is Yah's alone.
But I will argue my ways before him. This also shall be my salvation, that a hypocrite cannot come before him.
Oh boy, that's a true statement right there. He said, that's what I got in my favor. I'm speaking with Yah, but he knows I'm speaking from my heart, how I feel, and he knows that I'm not a hypocrite. I'm not doing evil, Job is saying, in the dark, and in here in front of you all, I come to speak about how righteous I am. That's what Job is saying. And he's saying, again, nobody should be like that. He says, that's what the real message in that line is all about. Come see.
Hear diligently my speech, and let my declaration be in your ears. Behold now, I've ordered my cause. I know that I shall be justified. who is it that will contend with me? For then will I hold my peace and die. Only not do two things unto me. Then will I not hide myself from thee.
What are these two things?
Withdraw thy hand far from me.
In other words, like David said, turn not thy spirit away from me. Job is saying two things. Don't ever leave me, Yah. Look, with all that trouble he got, he's still saying, do not hide yourself from me. Stay in my life, no matter what. What's the second one? Draw what? Draw thy hand far from me. Withdraw thy hand far from me. Don't put terror on me. Don't hurt me with your anger and your wrath and your indignation. He says further.
And let not thy terror make me afraid.
He said, you can make people afraid to death. Don't frighten me with your terrors. Then,
call thou, and I will answer.
He said, then you call me, and we'll start our conversation. Once you won't hurt me, and you won't remove your hand far from me, you ain't gonna forsake me because I spoke up. I reasoned with you. He says, well, let me speak.
And answer thou me.
And they said, if you do it on those terms, we can have that conversation. He says,
how many are mine iniquities and sins?
Tell me, how many sins do I have?
Make me to know my transgressions and my
What
sins.
specifically, Yah, did I do? That's what Job is saying.
Wherefore hidest thou thy face?
Why in this time when I need you most and I'm suffering like this and sad, lost my children, lost everything I had, you're not speaking to me. You're not coming in my life. I used to have a ruach that could feed. That ruach is gone. Why? What did I do?
And holdest me for thine enemy.
Because you remember, before Satan put this test before Job, him and the Creator, he was doing these offerings every day. In the morning after his sons had their feast, Job would go before Yah and they had spiritual communication. He ain't feeling it no more. He got a different ruach. See, the ruach of happiness is a different ruach from sadness. And we all can agree on that. Your spirit is not the same when you're sad as it is when you're happy. And that's what Job is talking about here. And we can acknowledge that we've all been there in both experiences. It says,
wilt thou harass a driven leaf?
Yahweh, will you chase a leaf? You're kicking nothing around the world. People are nothing. Why are you doing us like this?
And wilt thou pursue the dry stubble?
Would you just pursue something that's dried up and gonna die anyway?
That thou shouldest write bitter things against me?
And write that all these things should happen, the bitterness killed my 7,000 sheep, cattle. 7 sons, you took them. He said, you took my 3 daughters like they were stubble. He said, why are you doing all this stuff? Bitter things you wrote against me and make me to inherit
the iniquities of my youth.
I did things in my youth, but I've been good now. See, that's why I said everybody need to go and remember what you did when you was young. You might be a better person now, but Yahweh didn't forget the stuff you did when you forgot, or that you did when you was 7 or 3 or 5 or 9 or 11 or 12 or 15, and now you're 35 or 25 or 19, wherever it is. You get the point. Come see.
Thou puttest my feet also in the stocks, and lookest narrowly unto all my paths.
Right, you got me trapped in the stocks, you locked me up, and then now you're following my path. You made it narrow, I can't go anywhere. It's like, sounds like the COVID-19 to me, the shutdown. Everybody seems to be like Job today. That's why I'm doing this talk.
Thou drawest thee a line about the soles of my feet. Though I am like a wineskin that conceals.
Yeah, it's like putting that, you know how we go to a spot and they got a circle there and they say, stand on this social distancing? That's what Job is saying. You got my feet tied in a certain spot. I can't go nowhere because I got all these troubles and I don't want to do nothing. My spirit is gone. He said, though I am like a wineskin that consumeth.
Like a garment that is moth eaten.
Now I'm being eaten up little by little, said Job. And you would think Job done spoke 2 chapters. He ain't finished yet. He said, I got more to say. And you know, everybody's listening. Polite listening and speaking. Chapter 14, he starts out.
Man that is born of a woman is a few days and full of trouble.
Oh man, that's a powerful statement we can all agree on. Seems like before you know it, you're gone. I mean, you can be 10 years of age. When you get to 20, you already done had some trouble. Seems like as you start to get older, marriage, oh man, then you really start things like, I mean, I know one thing, if I could tell children and youth something, don't ever be too quick to grow up. Enjoy your childhood as long and as much as you possibly. Play all the kid games, jump rope, shoot skelly, spin the top, you know, all the games, whether it's in the Caribbean, whatever the games are, children, enjoy your childhood because when you get older, things get complicated.
He cometh forth like a flower and withereth.
Everything, you like a child, you're in your prime of your life, everything going good. Teeth coming in your mouth, eyes is 20/20, your hearing is beautiful, you don't have no problems, but ask those young men, because some of them who was 20 now, they 40, they say, man, oh man, it went so fast. Now I was playing ball, I didn't even have to take a shower, I didn't even have to exercise. I just went on the court and played. Not now. It happens so quick. You start to work out. You see those pros, they be stretching. Most of them got hurt because they too old now. They can't be playing out there and don't do them exercise, get them warm-ups because age. That's what Job is saying. It starts to come like a flower. Everybody when they're young is all energetic, everything. But as you get older, start withering. But I can tell you something, Jehovah can renew your strength like the eagle. See, I know all the precepts. That's why you got to not let that one stay on your head. Remember the other one. He have the power to let you renew your strength over and over and over if you find that favor. That's what he do in lengthening your days. He says, and he tells you all them things in Psalm 92, that Jehovah will let that righteousness and that sap of that righteousness flourish, even in old age. He controls it all. But Job is just telling you, when a man is sad, he speaks sad things. That's why Job was saying, hey, it's like a flower, and I feel like a withered flower now. He fleeth also as a shadow and continueth not. We come in and we're gone. Everybody is listening. You should consider that that's going to happen to us all. That's why you should take life seriously, because you can be here today and gone tomorrow, and nobody knows but the Yah what your day's number is. But you should fear, knowing that he can do it anytime he wants to. No one can stop him, it says.
And dost thou open thine eyes upon such a one, and bringest me into judgment with thee?
And Job is twisting it around. He's saying after that wisdom, and when you look at someone who's going to die, whose days are so short, and bring them into judgment?
Who can bring a clean thing out of an unclean?
I mean, man is unclean. He's born in uncleanness. How can you make him righteous and clean? You can't do it not with one. Seeing his days are determined already. That's why we're born with an unlimited time to be in this earth. We're limited, not unlimited, determined. The number of our months and years are with Yah.
The number of his months is with thee, and thou hast appointed his bounds that he cannot pass.
Man can't go beyond certain boundaries. He's limited. Creator is unlimited. He has no boundaries.
Look away from him,
Job is saying, look away from him.
that he may rest.
Leave him alone.
Till he shall accomplish.
Until he die, until he's as a hireling, as someone who works on a day and at the end of the day gets paid. Leave man alone until he gets paid and he dies. Just leave him alone.
As a hireling his day. For there's hope of a tree.
Now here's wisdom. There's hope for a tree if it be cut down.
That it will sprout again.
Why is it? You see a stump in the ground and you don't see no leaves, no budding, no nothing. Just a stump. Job and the wisdom of Moses here in this writing says that stump can live if a little water happens to come by its way. And he'll tell you, explain it.
And that the tender branch thereof will not cease.
If something happens,
Though the root thereof wax old in the earth,
Though it looks like it's dead, even down to its roots in the ground, which you can't see, might be dry and rotten and soft.
and the stalk thereof die in the ground,
He said, and even though that stump is dead because it's a drought, no water has been near it.
yet through the scent of water it will bud, put forth boughs like a plant. But man dieth and lieth low.
Let's listen to that now. He's saying right away, I want you to know that if that water comes by and that water tender branches thereof will begin to sprout up once that water again comes across the path. Even the scent of water to let you know. He said just the scent of water will make that tree start to get life again. But he says, but man, when he dies and lieth low in the grave.
Yea, man perisheth. And where is he?
Now everybody think about that. After you've had that funeral, take that hearse with the body of the carcass to the gravesite. They lower it down in the grave. The man starts to pour that dirt on the grave and everybody goes home. Where is he that you put in that ground? What happens to him? Think about that now. Let's say in Egypt, the pharaohs, they would have put a meal in there with them. Several meals for different heights of heavens. I'm asking you to have knowledge. Can a dead person eat food? Can they drink anything? Now that tells you where your wisdom is. Now, let's take this. Because a lot of people say, yeah, God can do anything. But he don't lie. He don't do what he says he's not gonna do. Everything begets after its kind. And another thing, you went to a funeral. Take anybody you want in your mind. They died on Friday. Sunday morning, when you get in your car, they're sitting right next to you. Now you was at the funeral, you know they died. They're sitting right next to you. I'm asking you, what are you gonna do? Can that happen? That's why I'm so glad it can't, because I know what I would do. That passenger's door that's open or not open will be the quickest door that ever was opened. And I will be out of that car as quickly as I can. Because all of us know, you talk about miracles, that'll be the most frightening one that you ever had. To see a person that you know died and was dead, and they're sitting next to you, asking you to change the music because they don't like it. You know how absurd that is. Now, if you think there's any truth in that, apply it to your Christian or whatever story you got about someone rising for the dead, and you'll see that in our teachings, it's impossible. We're not even to entertain it. It's everywhere, not only in Job. That's why we are Hebrews. We have a Hebrew understanding, and today we're presenting a Hebraic understanding of Job. Christians read this same book. They find JC all in here. I know their stuff because I read it. They find JC even in Job. I'll ask you, we're at chapter what number? 14? Going on to 15. You tell me if you see JC anywhere. He ain't nowhere. It's absurd. You had to put him in here for him to get in the story. He ain't nowhere in the thought. But yet there are people that have JC. You can go and hear a Christian version. It's not as a Hebrew version. It's not Hebraic. They got JC in here. And him talking with Job and all of that. It's ridiculous. Come shoot.
As the waters fail from the sea, and the river is drained dry, so a man lie down and riseth not.
You hear that? That's not Cohane Michael. Remember, every week when I teach, I want you to ask yourself, is Cohane Michael giving you his opinion, or is he showing you what's in the scriptures, what's in your Bible? Now, you cannot argue with me. I'm just a teacher. You have to say the Bible is wrong, because that's what the Bible is saying. No dead person rises up. And it's the Hebrew, the original, and it's the word of Yah, because I told you, no other God is in Job's mind, Eliphaz. No other God is in the mind of Bildad. No other power is in the mind of Sophar, but Yah that made heaven and earth. Let's make that clear. No other gods was in their mind. This is a Hebrew writing, a Hebrew understanding, and the only Hebrew understanding is Elohim, El Shaddai, the Almighty. Ha'el Yom, the Most High. That's the only one we're dealing with here. Not a man, not a God that died, the everlasting to everlasting power. Jehovah's ever oath is what this story is all about. No one else is in it. You can't force JC in the Old Testament. He's not in there. Tamshi.
Till the heavens be no more,
That could he ever fit in there?
they shall not awake.
That's right. And neither will that lie ever come to be the truth. Never. The truth is the truth. It's been laid down in these Hebrew writings. This is the word of Yah. Let's take a moment to have a little drumming, then we'll come back with our next chapter. Next week. You want to finish that? We'll let him finish that out. I'm sorry. Sometimes that happens. Let's finish that thought out.
Nor be aroused out of their sleep. Oh, that thou wouldst hide me in the nether world.
When you sleep, the sleep of death, that's an eternal, a permanent sleep.
That thou wouldst keep me secret until thy wrath be past. That thou wouldst appoint me at set time and remember me. If a man die, may he live again?
That's a good question. There's a question mark there. If a man die, may he live again in that same body? Because we can answer this. The spirit can return. Daniel is told that he will stand and live amongst his brethren in the end of the day. Before that great and terrible day, he said, I'll send Elijah back, but he won't be in that same body. His spirit will come back. Spirits come back. We know that it's part of Hebraic teachings. In Hinduism, they call it reincarnation. But their idea is that you can come back an animal, a lower life form. I'm not taking a judgment or conversation on that, but I'll just tell you this. The spirit can come back into earth again.
All the days of my service will I wait, till my relief should come. Thou wouldst call.
Job is saying, if I could be born, if I could live again, I have all the patience in the world to get that time come. But he's saying he's going to die. He don't have all that time. That's what he's saying. But he's saying, but if he could live and come back from death, oh, it's okay then.
Thou wouldst have a desire to the work of thy hands. But now thou numberest my steps.
It's not like that. I'm not coming back. I'm not going to come back from the dead. He says.
Thou dost not even wait for my sin.
He said, you don't even wait for me to sin. You kill it. I didn't do anything. Here he is again. Righteous Job. My transgression is sealed up in a bag.
And thou heapest upon mine iniquity.
He said, I didn't do anything. Why are you doing this to me? And surely
the mountain fallen crumbleth away.
He said, that's true. I know that. That's a natural reaction, cause and effect. But what happened to me is not the proper outcome for a righteous person.
And the rock is removed out of its place.
Yes.
The waters wear the stone.
That's true. Water can wear away anything given time.
The overflowings thereof wash away the dust of the earth.
That's right, because water, it lasts over and over again. You put something in what gets softer. If you live 1,000 years, that water gonna wear it away. Water was there in the beginning. The mountains came out of the water. The Creator Spirit hovered over the waters. Water is a very powerful, powerful entity.
So thou destroyest the hope of man.
Water is life. 80% of your body is mind. Male and female have different quantities, but none of us can live without that mind. It's deeper than what we can ever speak of.
Thou prevailest forever against him, and he passeth.
You can't beat man. Job is saying when it comes to Yah, man can't win. He's right.
Thou changest his countenance and sendest him away.
Do whatever you want to make him happy, sad, and indifferent.
His sons come to honor, and he knoweth it not.
Because he's dead. He don't even know what happened to his children. Poor man.
And they are brought low, but he regarded them not.
Yeah, he said, and he don't even know what's happened to his own children. So sad to be a human being. But I always ask that question, who wants to die? Most people say, not I, not now. Even with the trouble, it might get better tomorrow morning. I'll wait. I'm patient.
But his flesh grieveth for him, and his soul mourneth.
Yeah,
over
the
him.
body makes you feel that way sometimes. That's what we got to learn. We're flesh and blood. You can wake up feeling bad and you don't even know why. Because you're flesh and blood. You have a spirit that you can't control it. You're trying to get control of it. Let's listen to some music again, some wonderful drumming. I call it meditation drumming. Okay. Who's up? Give all glory to the Most High, the Holy One of Israel. And again, we thank our brother Mikubadia and all of the drummers with him. And his name, Mikubadia, comes from the word kavod, and it means glorifying Yah. And he does that wonderfully. So important. Remember when Cohane came up with that name, Mikubadia. And it's so important to give children a name that they can strive to live up to. And Toda Yah, he's doing just that. In closing, I would like to leave you with some important points to consider. One of them is having humility before Yah. The fear of Yah is the beginning of wisdom. Understanding the difference between us, the creature, and the Creator, who is the eternal one, and we are mortal man. It's important to understand that accusers can come in people. The adversary can be anyone that Yah uses to test you, so that you have to recognize the devil in people. Which one is worse, thinking evil or speaking evil? Just think about it. Job's friends, even his wife, and all of his friends, Eliphaz and Bildad and Sophar, all of them supposed to be friends, but they're being used to test Job. They're being used as an enemy. Not the way you might think in war, but the devil can use anyone. Shall one be justified before the Creator? That's something to think about. Can any of us be righteous in Yah's sight? Maybe that'll give us the humility that we need in a time of trouble. What is man, says the song, that thou art mindful of him? Do you know that we're just a speck of sand in eternity? When you consider the moon, the stars, the planets, infinity, how vast this earth is, what are any one of us? We're nothing in a universe. You're like a sand in the sea. That's how you look to the Creator. It's a miracle that he would even think on us with all the creation that's around. Does what you say and how you say it matter? Does what's in your heart and spirit matter before your heart? Few thoughts, think about as we go on. I hope you're enjoying Job. If you send me messages to stop and you say, I want to do and want Cohen to do something else, we tired of Job, I'm willing to do it. I'm doing this for those that need it and hope that it is needed and that it'll help you as we go on, because more arguments about life and a heavy hand of Yah is going to be presented in the scriptures. Lessons that might be in the book of Job. Some people think that this book is asking the question, can the affliction of the righteous and the prosperity of the wicked, can that be just when everybody dies? Is Yah's justice consistent with righteous and wicked people? Some people question his fairness. Is it a lesson that bad things happen to good people? Think about it. Do bad things happen to good people? Job went from riches to rags, and he was a good man. In the time of suffering, we must never give up. Do you feel that way? We never give up hope in the Almighty. Job complains about his suffering and his innocence. Should he be glorifying Yah, that he's still alive? Is there something that he can praise Yah about? Sometimes, maybe it's a lesson, our friends may fail us in the midst of our misery. But the Most High, he never fails us. Even in the midst of the Most High's silence, when you don't think you are getting any answer from Yah, he is there. Yah is with us. Job asked over 25 times, why? Sometimes you don't get the answer to why. Job is wrestling and wrestling with Yah's silence in the face of his suffering. He's suffering and wrestling with the fact that Yah is not speaking to him. Are we so righteous and pure and holy that Yah could come and visit us as a human being? When you think about the men that have been in the presence of the Most High, in the Tanakh, in the Torah, Moses, Elijah, how many men get that close, people, to the Most High? Something to think about. Maybe that's a lesson. Wisdom comes from fearing the power of the Most High and turning from evil. Do you agree? Closing thoughts. Yah is with us in the midst of our troubles. Do you believe that in your trouble that he's with you? As a man thinketh, if you don't think he's with you, why should he be there? Trust in him. He's there. He'll be there. Yah is in control of everything. Sometimes, in the midst of our suffering, we must remember to be humble. At all times, we sin. At times, people sin against their friends. When you say you're a friend, remember to bring that compassion to your friend that you're trying to uplift. And I'll tell you, like at the end of this story, at the end of everyone's trouble, after atonement, after repentance, after forgiveness, comes those blessings again. And I'd like to leave you with this thought found in Psalm 25, verse 22. And it says,
Redeem Yisrael, O Yahweh, out of all his troubles.
and that is what I pray Yah will do for each and every one of you, that he will deliver you, that he will restore you to the place of peace that you had before those troubles came in. May redeem all Israel out of all their troubles. May remember humanity as he does even every day. Yivareka Yehovah, Vayishmareka, Ya'ir Yehovah Panayo, Aleka Wikuneka, Yisa Yehovah Panayo Aleka, Vayasim Leka Shalom. Hallelujah. May Yehovah bless thee and keep thee. May Yehovah cause his face to shine upon thee and be gracious unto thee. May Yehovah lift up his countenance upon thee and give thee peace. So shall the Cohane put my name upon the children of Israel, and I will bless them. Hallelujah.
And they should put my name upon the children of Israel, and I bless them. Sing it.
family who among Israel Namidia Mishira wa family to among Israel Namidia Mishira